Before Bruce Lee, before Jackie Chan, before the Kung Fu boom, there was Shaw Brothers Studio, the legendary Hong Kong powerhouse that shaped Asian cinema for generations. While our journey today begins in 1960, the studio's story goes back much further, to the 1930s in Shanghai and the 1950s in Hong Kong, when Shaw Brothers were already producing everything from musicals to melodramas. Unfortunately, many of those early treasures never reached the West, and only fragments remain known outside Asia. But starting in 1960, a new golden age began, one that defined the look, sound, and soul of martial arts cinema. So join me as we travel through 25 unforgettable years, counting down the best Shaw Brothers film of every year from 1960 to 1985. 1960, The Enchanting Shadow. We begin with a ghostly romance that feels like poetry on film. The Enchanting Shadow tells the tale of a scholar and a beautiful spirit trapped between worlds. Its haunting atmosphere, ethereal colors, and dreamlike set design turned it into one of Shaw Brothers' first true masterpieces, a gothic fantasy that inspired generations of filmmakers. 1961, Love Without End. A heartbreaking drama starring Linda Din Dai, the queen of Hong Kong cinema in the early 1960s. It's a story of love, illness, and sacrifice. Pure melodrama, elevated by Shaw's trademark production design and lush orchestral score. 1962, Madam White Snake. A timeless legend brought to life with stunning visuals and elaborate costumes. Combining opera, romance, and mythology, Madam White Snake represents the Shaw Brothers' fascination with Chinese folklore long before they became known for martial arts. 1963, The Love Eterne. A massive hit across Asia, a gender-bending musical based on the classic story of the Butterfly Lovers. Ivy Ling Po's performance as a woman disguised as a man became iconic, turning this film into a cultural phenomenon. 1964, Lady General Hua Mulan. Years before Disney, the Shaw Brothers gave us Mulan. Ivy Ling Po once again shines as the warrior who takes her father's place in battle. It's a tale of bravery, sacrifice, and gender defiance, and one of the studio's earliest proto-feminist films. 1965, The Grand Substitution. A Shakespearean tale of political intrigue and revenge. Featuring mistaken identity, loyalty, and tragedy, it shows how the Shaw Brothers excelled in complex, character-driven storytelling, not just action. 1966, Come Drink With Me. A turning point. Directed by King Hu, this film introduced elegance and grace to martial arts cinema. Cheng Pei-Pei's performance as the sword-wielding Golden Swallow redefined the role of women in action films. Stylized choreography, poetic framing, and a haunting atmosphere, the wuxia revolution had begun. 1967, One-Armed Swordsman. Jimmy Wang Yu's breakout role, and the film that made Shaw Brothers the kings of martial arts. Dark, bloody, and tragic, it tells of a wounded hero who loses his arm but not his honor. Its success launched countless imitators and changed the face of action cinema forever. 1968, Golden Swallow. King Hu had left the studio, but director Cheng Chet took his place, adding masculinity and violence to Hu's elegance. Cheng Pei-Pei returns in this semi-sequel filled with heartbreak and balletic swordplay. 1969, Return of the One-Armed Swordsman. Jimmy Wang Yu returns for an even bloodier and more mature sequel. Here, his hero faces multiple assassins and inner demons, blending tragedy and vengeance in one of the decade's best martial epics. 1970, The Chinese Boxer, also known as The Hammer of God. Written, directed, and starred in by Jimmy Wang Yu, The Chinese Boxer marks the birth of the modern hand-to-hand kung fu film. No swords, no flying, just fists, sweat, and rage. It paved the way for Bruce Lee and the global kung fu explosion. 1971, New One-Armed Swordsman. David Chiang steps into the role, bringing new depth and charisma. Together with Ti Lung, they form one of the most iconic actor-director partnerships under Chang Che's direction. Stylish, tragic, and deeply human, it's a classic of 1970s Hong Kong cinema. 1972, Five Fingers of Death, also known as King Boxer. The first Hong Kong kung fu film to conquer the West. When Five Fingers of Death hit American theaters in 1973, audiences were stunned. Its iron fist sequences and dramatic intensity paved the way for Enter the Dragon and international kung fu mania. Love classic martial arts cinema? Smash that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into Shaw Brothers history and drop a comment below. What's your favorite Shaw Brothers film of all time? 1973, Blood Brothers. A sweeping saga of brotherhood, betrayal, and blood, starring Ti Lung and David Cheong. Chang Che's direction combines emotional drama with heroic action in one of his finest achievements. 1974, Shaolin Martial Arts. A young Gordon Liu appears in this early Lau Kar Leong classic, a film full of creative training sequences and Shaolin wisdom. Here you can see the roots of the 36th Chamber of Shaolin beginning to form. 1975, The Empress Dower. A return to political drama, chronicling the corruption and court intrigue of late imperial China. It's grand, operatic, and proof that the Shaw Brothers could handle historical spectacle as well as they did combat. 1976, The Magic Blade. Ti Lung shines as Fu Hong Shui, a stoic swordsman wielding the legendary Death Dealer blade. A wuxia full of mystery, deadly duels, and poetic loneliness, one of the most stylish Shaw films ever made. 1977, Executioners from Shaolin. Lau Kar Leong perfects the blend of philosophy and fighting. The tiger crane duel between Gordon Liu and Lo Lieh as Pai Mei remains one of the most iconic sequences in martial arts cinema. 1978, The 36th Chamber of Shaolin. If one year defines Shaw Brothers, it's 1978, their absolute peak. This was the year of the 36th Chamber of Shaolin, but also Heroes of the East, Crippled Avengers, and Five Deadly Venoms. Each one a masterpiece. But 36th Chamber stands above them all. Gordon Liu's journey from rebellion to enlightenment became the ultimate kung fu origin story taught in every training montage that followed. 1979, Dirty Ho. A delightful mix of humor and combat. Lau Kar Leong and Gordon Liu turn every scene into a dance of deception, blending wit and weaponry in a way only the Shaw Brothers could do. 1980, Clan of the White Lotus. The iconic villain Pai Mei returns and Gordon Liu faces him once again. A film about balance, humility, and the evolution of martial arts, part revenge tale, part spiritual odyssey. 1981, Masked Avengers. One of the darkest Shaw films ever made. A bloody tale of secret societies, treachery, and booby-trapped mansions. Stylish, violent, and endlessly entertaining. 1982, Five Element Ninjas. Chang Che at his most unhinged and creative. Ninjas representing earth, water, fire, wood, and metal, each with their own deadly style. Over the top, colorful, and pure pulp fun. 1983, Shaolin Intruders. A high-energy acrobatic spectacle that proves Shaw Brothers were still innovating even as the kung fu boom began to fade. 1984, The 8-Diagram Pole Fighter. A masterpiece of tragedy and redemption. Inspired by true events, it tells of a warrior monk seeking peace after unbearable loss. Gordon Liu's raw emotion and Lau Kar Leong's direction create one of the most powerful films in the Shaw library. 1985, Martial Arts of Shaolin. The final martial arts film produced by the Shaw Brothers, starring a young Jet Li, years before Shaolin Temple made him a global star. By this time, the studio had largely ceased film production, marking the end of an era. But what an ending it was! From ghosts and tragedies to fists, swords, and spiritual journeys, the Shaw Brothers shaped the DNA of martial arts cinema. Between 1960 and 1985, they created over 700 films, influencing everything from Tarantino's Kill Bill to Kung Fu Panda. Their empire may have faded after 1985, but their legacy, immortal. So, which Shaw Brothers masterpiece is your favorite?
Drop it in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more journeys into the golden age of Hong Kong cinema.